What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Lost Artistry Lash channel. Today I have a live model coming in and we are going to be building a strip lash look. My model Mel gave me full freedom to do whichever style I wanted on her, which is amazing. It's the best feeling ever when clients give you full freedom to work your creativity. And the reason why I chose to do a strip lash look is because, for one, I know that Mel likes texture, and also because her layers are actually quite staggered. I'm gonna throw up a photo on the screen so you can take a look, but just see that her lashes don't sit in line perfectly from the inner corner to the outer corner. You can see that some lashes sit a little bit higher and her layers just aren't very consistent. So rather than trying to go for uniformity, I'm gonna work with what she has and do more of a textured look on her today. So I thought it would be fun to go for a dramatic strip lash style on her today. Strip lash looks come in a variety of different styles. They can go from anywhere from natural to dramatic and from little to lots of texture. For our set today, I'm thinking we're gonna go for more of a traditional strip lash look. So lots of spiky texture and a really dark lash line. So here is how we're going to achieve that today. So it all starts with having the right products. To ensure that my set looks symmetrical, clean, and seamless, I'm gonna be working with our 10D 0.03 mid-stem pre-fans for my middle and bottom layer. These lashes are super lightweight and fluffy, which will offer a ton of coverage along the base. The base of the fan is also a little bit longer and it's nice and pointy, which is gonna help add more darkness along the base as well, which is exactly what we're going for today. If you are a handmade volume artist but find that it takes you a little bit longer to finish up your appointments, try adding in a couple pre-made fans at the end of your service just to speed things up. If you are a speedy handmade volume artist, all you'll need is C&D Curl 0.03 volume lashes. I'll also be using these lashes today for my spikes along the top layer. I think I'm gonna have a banana after we're done this. Now let's move on to the tweezers. For our isolation tweezer, it's important that it has a nice pointed tip so we can maneuver around all of those lashes. It's also nice when the tweezer has a wider opening so that we can push those wide fans out of the way so we can perfectly isolate our lash. It also is really nice to have a tweezer that is nice and lightweight so we can prevent straining our hands and wrists. I'm gonna be working with our Precision Grippo Isolation Tweezer. This has been my go-to lately because it just checks all of the boxes. And for my pickup tweezer, I'll be working with our Slim Boot tweezer. If you watch this channel a lot, you know that Slim Boot has been one of my favorites for a very, very long time. It's great because it has a very large sweet spot, a pointed tip. It's also very lightweight and it doesn't require a lot of tension. So again, going back to our hands and wrists, it's important that we're using ergonomic tweezers so we can keep lashing in the long run. For my glue today, I'm gonna be using Bondage, which is a 2 to 3 second cure time. The reason I'm choosing to work with Bondage today is because I've never actually lashed Mel before. And I find that when I'm trying new styles or lashing new clients, it takes me a little bit of time to get to know their lashes. So it'll be nice to have that extra couple seconds to make a connection with my extension. If I feel like I'm speeding through my service, I might bump up to Sino-Free or Quickie, depending on what I need. And this is also why it's important to have a couple extra glues on hand because you never know how fast you're gonna be for the day. Sometimes your temperature and humidity might be a little bit different. So it's nice to have different glues for different days, depending on how you're feeling. So now that we have all of the right products, now let's talk about the game plan, how we actually plan on executing this strip lash set. So firstly, it's important that we use layers to our advantage. Each of our layers sit at a different height on the eye. We have our bottom layer, which sits closest to the upper waterline, and then we have our top layer, which sits highest on the eyelid. The top layer is important because that is where our longest lengths are going to stand out. So this is where we want to focus on our shaping, and placing our spikes on this layer is going to help make them stand out as well. If we were to say place a spike along the top layer, then the middle layer or the bottom layer, just staggered throughout the lash line, it's not gonna have a consistent shape. Instead, the spikes are gonna go like this, like a zigzag. But we wanna make sure that we create a nice shape. Depending on if that's a cat eye or an open eye, that's totally up to you. Personally, whenever I place my spikes, I like to keep an inspection mirror on hand to make sure that my shape is nice and consistent. So in order to make things easier on myself, I'm gonna be placing my spikes on the top layer first so that I can evenly space out my spikes across both eyes. Since the spikes are gonna be the focal point of our set today, it's really important that we make sure that they are balanced and they all look the same. So making sure that they come to a perfect point at the tips and making sure that both eyes have the same number of spikes and that they are in the same spot across both eyes. For our middle and top layer, we're gonna bump up our dimension and bump down our lengths to add more density along that lash line. So we have the length from the spikes and our density from the pre-made fans. I'm not quite sure what lengths I'm gonna use just yet. I'm gonna take a look at her lashes when she gets in, but I'll be sure to add all of the info in the caption below, and we'll provide a map at the end of the video, so make sure that you stay around for that. And from there, with my pre-made fans, I'm just gonna go crazy and feather in all of my lengths. So again, Mel does have very staggered layers, so we're not going for any sort of uniformity today. We're just gonna add multiple different lengths in all of our sections to add more texture. Now let's talk about the placement. Placement is so important, especially for a set like this, because if we place our extensions inconsistently across the lash line, again, our result is gonna be staggered. We also want to make sure that we're placing our extensions close enough to the lash line so that our extensions stay in place. If we were to place our extensions too far away, then that's when they begin to twist and turn and flop over, and then the result won't look as clean. I'm gonna be placing my extensions 0.5 millimeters away from the skin. That's gonna help add more darkness. But if you prefer to place 1 millimeter away, that's totally fine too. 100% coverage for a set is always the goal, but it's not always realistic. So don't beat yourself up if you find that you're not getting all of those lashes. But it's really important that you get 100% coverage along the bottom layer. The reason why is because, again, going back to those layers, the bottom layer sits closest to the upper waterline, so that is the layer that our clients see when they look in the mirror. So by having 100% coverage, it's gonna help make the set look fuller and darker. Just for fun, I'm gonna throw up a photo on the screen of a set with the bottom layer fully covered and a set where the bottom layer is not lashed at all, just so you can see the true difference that it makes. By the way, we teach all about this stuff in our online trainings. We have courses that teach everything from the basics to learning classic and volume and advanced styling as well. We believe that online training is the future of lashing because there's just no way that you can teach so much in a 1 or 2 day course. These courses are seriously no joke. There is so much information in here. All right, guys, Mel is almost here, so we can finally bring this set to life. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell so you never miss out on brand new content. Your support truly means the world to us, and thank you so much for joining us along today. Also, let us know in the comments if you plan on creating a strip lash look this year. And if you recreate this set today, you'll have to send us over your recreation over on our Instagram page.